Alright, so we're now ready to make our Tinder app. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this section, I'm going to strongly encourage you to do as much of this as possible yourself. So I'm going to be setting most of what we're doing in this section as challenges. And the first challenge is, of course, to create a login and sign up form. So it's up to you exactly what form you want this to take. The only thing I'm going to specify is that instead of an email address, we're just going to collect a username and a password this time round. So just a username and password, login and sign up, similar to what we did before. Off you go. Good luck. Okay, here we go then. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly as we have done something fairly similar before. So let's start off with our labels. And sometimes you do need to be quite zoomed in to get everything looking right. So we'll start with our Tinder login, which will just be our title. And then enter a username and password. So remember, with pass, the only thing actually that's required is a username and a password. So we don't need an email address. It can be useful, but for an app like Tinder, people might want to remain more anonymous. So we'll do our usual approach to layout, keeping everything super simple. So actually I'll do as we had before. We'll have sign up as the default, and then for this one, I'm just going to put or, comma, and then have our login or sign up button. There we go. Let's move that slightly to the right. Nice. Okay, and then username and password, and as before, I'm going to put in some default values just to save me the typing and to save you watching me type as well. There we go. We'll make that one secure text entry. Super. So now let's just create our necessary outlets. So we've got a username field. Got a password field. Got sign up or login button. I'm going to collect all the outlets together this time. Change sign up mode button, and then the actions sign up or login, and change sign up and action. Okay, so we're good to go. Let's go over to viewcontroller.swift, and we'll start with change sign up mode first. So we'll set sign up mode to be true initially, and then we'll check for sign up mode being true. And if it is, then we want to switch to login mode. So we'll set sign up mode to be false. We'll take the sign up or login button and we'll set the title to log in for the default control state. And then we'll set the change sign up mode button to have a title of sign up. There we go. Oh yes, and sign up mode should be a var, as we're going to need to change it later on. Okay, other options then, if we're in login mode, then we need to move back into sign up mode, which means we need to make the sign up or login button say sign up and the change mode button say login. All right, time for a quick check, I think. So let's just make sure that we can switch back and forth smoothly between sign up and login mode. And here we go. So if we switch to login, there we go. Brilliant. All works as we would want it to. So now let's get the sign up working. Okay, so this time I'm not going to do the check to see if the username and password field are empty. We did that before. We don't need to see it again, but we do need the sign up process to work. So let's set up a new PF user and we'll set the username to be the username field dot text, and we'll set the password to be the password field dot text. And we're not going to have an email this time, so we don't need that. Then we're going to take our user and sign them up in the background. With a success and error. And we'll check to see if error is not nil. And this time, just to show a bit of variety, we're going to have a field actually on the login page. So I'm just going to make it a plain old label, which will appear down here to show any error messages. And I'll make it red to make it clear that if we're showing here, something is wrong. Okay, why? There we go. So we'll call this error label and we'll make it blank to begin with. So then we'll have our error message, which will just be initially a generic sign up failed, please try again. But we're going to try and get the proper error message. I'll call this the pass error. And here we're going to take the optional error, the fact that we know has a value, and look for user info and the error message and try and cast it as a string. And if we're successful, we'll set error message equal to pass error. And then we'll take our error label and set the text to error message. There we go. So just another way of showing an error message to a user. And where are we? there. So if the error is nil, we'll print signed up. And also we'll just jump over to appdelegate.swift and turn off enable automatic user, because we don't want an automatic user. We only really want a user once they've signed up properly. So let's just check that. We should see the sign up process now works. And here we go. So let's click sign up. And now you can see we've got the error I mentioned before. The easy fix for that is to just go onto the pass dashboard and delete that user. In fact, I've got two users there, so I'm going to delete both of them. You might also, to be absolutely sure, want to delete the app from the phone altogether, and then start it again. And now let's try sign up again, and that worked fine. So if you get that particular issue because you've already run the app with an anonymous user, then that's the way to fix it. So if we now just check, there we go. So there's my user with his username and password nicely encrypted. Brilliant. So now we've got sign up working. Let's check that it displays the error message nicely. So if we try and sign up again with another user called Rob, we get account already exists for this username. Great. So now we just need to perfect the login mode. So let's do a check to see if sign up mode, then we do all of that. Else we're going to log the user in. So we use pfuser dot login with username in background. There we go. We want that one with the username, password, and block. So username is username field dot text. Password is password field dot text. And then we've got our block with our user and error. And I think, as before, we'll need to unwrap those two. We know that they're text fields, so they'll definitely have, it may be an empty value, but it will at least have a value. So all we need to do is check for an error. And in fact, we can just use exactly the same code that we used before. The only thing we need to change is logged in. Okay, so let's now try out our login. So if I try and log in with Rob, that should work fine. There we go, logged in. Saw it for a moment there. But if I try and sign in with someone that doesn't exist, we get invalid username or password. Brilliant. So that's a whole user login system in around 20 minutes. Not bad at all. One quick thing that's worth noting is if we try and sign up a user with an empty username, it does actually work. Down there somewhere, it would have said success. If we go and have a look in our pass database, you can see it's created a username automatically. So if you don't want it to do that, you do need to check for the existence of a username, i.e. that the user has typed something into that box. The next step then is, unlike with our Instagram app, with Tinder, we do need to collect some more information about our user when they've signed up. We need to get an image of them, we need to get their gender, and the gender of people that they're interested in. So we'll create a new view controller for that, and we'll do that, of course, in the next video.